Hearings Officer Frank, whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Ms. King. We will go on the record now. The time is 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday evening, December 5th, 2023. And this is the time and the place for hearing of Deschutes County file numbers 247-23-000-293-CU, 294-CU, 295-CU, 737-SMA, 738-SMA, and 739-SMA. My name is Greg Frank, and I am the hearings officer assigned to this matter. Before we turn to the particulars of the hearing, I would like to turn things back over to Planner King to describe how the electronic process in the hearing might proceed this evening.
Thank you, Hearings Officer Frank. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I do want to acknowledge that. I do want to acknowledge. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
okay,
I can hear.
Great.
Thank you.
I do want to acknowledge that we received a continuance request from the applicant yesterday afternoon. And so that's before the hearings officer this evening. Let me get my screen up here. So again, we received a written continuance request of the hearing on December 4th, 2023, and that request was forwarded to Hearings Officer Frank. And the continuance request was received after the notice of initial hearing was mailed out on November 6th and posted on November 12th, which is why we are here this evening, obviously opening up the hearing. And per Deschutes County Procedures Ordinance, the hearings officer has the discretion to grant the continuance. But again, we do have the opportunity today for folks to provide testimony if they would like this evening. Again, as part of the continuance request, that is up to the discretion of the hearings officer. There's a couple different options for how we would proceed with if the hearings officer grants that request. The first is if it's continued to a date and time certain, we will describe and finalize that date this evening. Or if the hearings officer grants the continuance and the date and time is uncertain, staff would generate a new notice of public hearing to be mailed out at least 21 days prior to the hearing. And per the applicant's request, they would like to continue it to a date certain, which if the hearings officer would entertain that, we would certainly discuss that this evening.
Ms. King, would you like my input right now?
Yeah, that'd be, yes, please. Thank you.
Sure. Yes, I just want to acknowledge that I did receive an email yesterday afternoon from Ms. King indicating that there was a request for a continuance to a date certain. In addition to the specific request, Ms. King provided me with I think 3 or 4 dates, and I responded to her with a couple of those dates that worked with my schedule, and I believe in February. My request would be that if the applicant or applicant's representative can verbalize their request, and if they have a specific date in mind, I would like to hear that first. Ms. King, I would ask for your response from that. In all circumstances, I will ask all attendees or any attendee at the hearing this evening if they wish to testify this evening or delay or postpone their testimony until the continued hearing date and time. So is the applicant's representative available to formalize their request and indicate to me if they have a date and time certain?
Thank you, Hearings Officer Frank. Yeah, we do have the applicant and their representative who called in. So I would ask them if they could raise their hand by selecting *9, and we'll elevate them and so that they'll be able to address your question.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's *9. Oh, okay. To raise hand, I think we've got that. So we'll go ahead and elevate the applicant at this time.
If you'll identify yourself first and last name, do it slow enough. And if you think I can misspell the first or last name, please spell the name and give us your mailing address, please.
Typically just a couple seconds. Again, for those calling in, *9 to raise your hand and *6 is to unmute yourself.
Cynthia Grossman, CYNTHIA GROSSMANN,
And your address, please?
70450 Northwest Lower Valley Drive, Terrebonne, Oregon, 97760.
Ms. Grossman, if you could tell me what you'd like me to do this evening, at least make that request.
I believe Lisa should be on the line, but we do want to continue at the first date available, which I believe is February 6th.
Okay. And if your counsel is available, if you can do that whole *9, *6 business, if you want to add anything else, you're more than welcome to, and confirm the date.
And again, just a reminder to raise hand is *9. Please do that if you're calling in, and again, we'll elevate you so that you can unmute. Okay. And *6 will be your unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties on my end. This is Lisa Andrak, attorney for Cindy Grossman.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
I agree. We are asking for a continuance in this matter to the earliest date available. We don't have any conflicts with any of the dates, so the soonest date that you can put us back on the calendar would be great, so that we can get some additional information together for the application.
Thank you, Ms. Andrak. Would you give your mailing address, please?
Yes, Fichineri, PC, 210 Southwest 5th Street, Suite 2, Redmond, Oregon, 97756.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything else you want to tell me?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. King, your response from staff?
Yes, thank you, Hearings Officer Frank. So I've put up on the screen, and if it works with your schedule, it sounds like February 6th will work for the applicant. That works for county staff. So if that all works with the hearings officer, that will be the date of the continued hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. February 6th at 6 p.m. is acceptable to me, and so I'm going to grant the applicant's request for a continuance. At this time, I'm going to ask first staff, does staff have anything that they wish to add this evening other than perhaps some logistical issues that you may wish to address?
Oh, yes. Thanks, Hearings Officer Frank. Yeah, the related to the continued hearing date, obviously in-person location is the same, Barnes and Sawyer room. And then for those who would like to participate remotely, you'll be utilizing the same Zoom link that was on the original notice of public hearing. Again, so that will not change. That will be the same Zoom link you'll use to log in on February 6th. And then that's the only thing related to continued hearing. I did just want to note again, Hearings Officer Frank, we do have a few other folks on the call, and if they do wish to testify, I'll run through my oral staff report and the procedures. So I'll turn it over to you for if folks would like to testify.
In the sake of time expediency, I'm going to shortcut your suggestion just a bit, and if requested, we'll run through the staff report. It's my hope that anyone who wishes to testify this evening, certainly they have every right to do so. I'm hoping that they've reviewed the staff report in and of itself, and so any questions that they may have regarding that staff report, there's going to be a period of time in which they have an opportunity to review that report again and contact Ms. King, or theoretically the applicant if they're in opposition or have questions. So would you ask folks to raise their hand if they wish to testify this evening?
Yes, thank you. Again, so if anyone is joining us, all the folks on remote, if you've called in, please hit *9. And then if you are using computer or smart device, please select the raise hand button. It looks like we do have Carol Macbeth has her hand raised. We'll go ahead and elevate her.
Ms. Macbeth, when you're ready, first and last name and your address, and then I have a question for you.
Hello, this is Carol Macbeth. I'm a staff attorney for Central Oregon Land Watch, which is at 2843 Northwest Lolo Drive in Bend, Oregon, 97703. I just quickly wanted to request an assurance that the clock will be tolled for the period of the continuance. I'm concerned that a 60 days is quite a long delay and don't want the clock to run out. Thank you.
Excellent request. All right, let's have Ms. King respond. I know what my response is going to be, but I'm going to have her indicate staff's position.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Hearings Officer Frank. Yeah, so our procedures ordinance states that if a continuance is requested by the applicant or otherwise agreed to by the applicant, that the clock is tolled during that period of continuance. So the clock would be tolled starting today and then restart on February 6th, the new hearing date.
Ms. Macbeth, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I didn't realize that was in the procedures ordinance. I really appreciate your doing so and explaining it to me.
Okay, no problem. And irrespective of Ms. King's testimony or comments, that would have been my ruling, and had it not, I would have turned it back over to Ms. Andruk and made the request to her to toll it in person or for applicants. So in any way, shape, or form, we've told it. So I think we've taken care of that question. Does anybody else wish to have any testimony this evening?
I believe Lisa and Cindy's hands are still raised. Just
Oh,
wanting to make sure. I believe you'll hit *9 again to lower your hand. But again, if you'd like to provide testimony, you can leave your hand up. We can elevate you. Looks like we still have a hand raised. Why don't we go ahead and elevate them, Tracy, just to make sure. Okay. I'm not sure if this is Lisa or Cindy, but it looks like it's Cindy. Cindy, you're able to speak if you'd like to provide testimony, or please let us know if you do.
Nope.
Okay.
I am finished. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure. No worries. So that's all, Hearings Officer Frank. We have nobody attending in person, just the three that we've elevated thus far.
Considering the request of the applicant and the comments from both staff and Central Oregon Land Watch, I do not see a need to have a staff presentation this evening. Each and every person is going to have an opportunity to testify on February 6th and give us their thoughts. And certainly I would expect a staff presentation that evening, which may or may not be exactly the same as the one intended to be presented this evening. So Ms. King, anything further?
No further comments.
Okay, with that, then I continue the hearing to February 6th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Ms. King has given you the logistics. If anyone on this hearing platform has any questions regarding the logistics, I would ask that they call Ms. King. If not, then I am going to close this hearing. Thank you for all coming this evening. We look forward to hearing from you on February 6th at 6 p.m. Thank you. Hearing will be closed.
Thank you. Good night.